when we fire up our PLC, what are the two things we're looking at to make sure our cable's okay? We're looking at the two lights, right? What's the two we're looking for? We're looking first for the link light. So the link light tells us if it's connected, basically. It just means there's a link. This is a good indication. Usually if this light comes on, it usually means your cable is constructed correctly or wired correctly. You're using the right cable. And then, of course, what should start happening instantly on this situation is that your RX TX light should start doing what? Flashing, right? Which means now not only are you basically have a good idea that your cable's okay, but you also have a good idea that you're transferring information with your PLC. And this is also true on your computer. Undoubtedly, unfortunately, the boot usually covers it up, but most network interfaces have the link and the transmit light on there also. So let's see what we got, guys. We need to figure out exactly where we're at, huh? Huh? Let me make sure where we put them. I think the programs are behind on the Festo line behind the punch station down in the bottom. On the PLC on the right hand side. Unfortunately, as soon as we put our I/O module on there, what did we cover up? The right hand side. So remember this: if you're going to put this thing on a rack and you're going to do programming offline, then what you need to make sure you do is record that number before you do what? Before you snap those I/O modules. Yeah, we're going to do unspecified because unspecified is really neat. I'll show y'all in a minute where we have to add all this other garbage at. So if you don't have it connected and you don't use unspecified, then after you load in, you're going to have to add all the modules, right? Then you'll have to know the part numbers on all the modules. So to do unspecified PLC, you have to be connected to the PLC you're going to do programming. Everybody understand that? Then we do what? We go to detect. And then we go to search. Now what's going to happen if we get this thing networked up, then every PC is going to do what? Going to populate this list. And this takes a little while. It's found it. And what we're doing is waiting on this detect button to do what? Become active. You know, won't be grayed out. As soon as that is, we can go out there and we can finish up our PLC. Well, you know, you got to understand it's got a lot of stuff it's got to do what? It's got to figure out. It's got to figure out this analog signal card. It's got to figure out this I/O device that we have. So all we're doing is just waiting on that to turn. And then it's got a DHCP server built into it, and it's going to assign an IP so we can get started. And then once we get started, what can we do? We can change the IP, right? And what version IP do we use? IPv4. 4 is easy to remember because it's 4 bytes. IPv6 is hard to remember because it's 8 bytes, right? And then it's got to assign an IP for our computers, for the Ethernet card on our computer that is in the same subnet as the one that we're doing for our PLC. And these are by default, guys. So what this is going to do, it's going to allow us to do what? talk to our PLC. So then once we can talk to the PLC, then we can do things about it. Okay, so here we go. So this thing did exactly what it's supposed to do. Okay, is everybody here so far? Except Anthony's group, they're up. So y'all basically helping me out with the procedures, right? So what are we going to do next before we do anything? Not yet. We're going to rename the CPU. So by default, everybody's CPU is in here is called what? PLC-1.
Still name the station, right?
We're going to name it according to our station. So all we have to do is just come up here and double click. Just come up here and double click on the name, right? You'll understand. Yeah, okay. Come up here and double click on the name. It turns it into a text box.
Or you can right click.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to right click. We can right click and choose rename. It looks like you can press F2 also. Are we okay so far? Any questions? So is everybody caught up? Everybody okay? We okay? Everybody okay? So y'all can swap team positions and let the other team do the next step. So what's our next step? Let's swap teams positions, swap teams. We could do that. Somebody said, Milton said we're going to configure the IP address. I'll swap team positions. So swap teams positions. I see some of y'all are still typing that was typing before. Milton, swap team positions. Okay, I'm sorry. What are we going to do? How are we going to do the IP address? Yeah, right here. We're going to come over and click on this little green port. And then what it's going to do is it's going to give us the IP address that it was assigned. I'd already moved mine to 6 because I was doing the buffer station. So 1 and 2 are being used, right? You understand what's being used by 1, my PLC. What's being used by 2, the HMI panel that we're going to be using. Everybody understand that? So that means the testing station is going to use what? 3, and it probably is already assigned 3 because we've already done that. Right? Y'all understand that?
Yep.
But this is where we would go. What type of IP are we using? Are we using static IP or are we using dynamic IP? We're using static IP. So by default, we're using static IP. Now, why? So the PLC won't move, right? You understand? Everybody understand that? Okay. Y'all should have all the information. So we've already assigned the IP address to our we already assigned the IP address to our PLC. Now, if I was doing this on RSLogix, I would have to run a DHCP server application that's part of RSLogix. And then when it popped up, I would have to know the MAC address of my PLC. And then when that MAC address popped up, I would come up here and double click on it, and then I would do what? Then I would assign it an IP. What's really nice about this guy is all about the TIA portal is all this is integrated into one package. We don't have to keep running different applications to do different things, right? Well, it is, and like I said, I need to start playing around with the RSLogix 5000 to see how much integration they put into that. Because HMI panels used to not be popular at all. Everything was done with push buttons and switches. But as we move into Industry 4.0, everything is moving to graphics, right? You understand that? So now, used to be HMI panels were the exception. Now they're the what? They're the norm. Yeah, they're the norm. You can't hardly go into a new plant. When Amazon comes along, you go over there, I bet you're going to see hundreds of HMI panels all over the place. People touching touchscreen. So our IP is okay, but now we know how to do it. We redid that, right? So what do we do now? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to come over here for the listing of our processor. We're going to right click on it, right? And then we're going to go down to properties. Everybody okay? And then what are we looking for in all this big old list right here? We're looking for system and clock memory, right? Don't understand. We're going to double click on that. And we're going to enable the system memory bit. This gives us our first scan. This gives us our first scan option. And we're going to set the what? We're going to set the memory address to 6. Everybody okay? We lost anybody so far? Everybody okay? Then I'm going to slide on down to the clock memory bit. I'm going to enable that. And we're going to make sure we set that to what? 7. Right, Joe? You said both of them to 6 last time, wasn't you? Somebody did. Once we do that, what do we need to do? Click on OK. Now what am I going to do next? What we're going to do is we're going to download the hardware configuration. We have our PLC selected, right? Okay. So since our PLC is selected, I'm going to come up here and click on download. And this is going to download our PLC hardware configuration. So whatever you have active at the time, if you download it, that's what you're going to download, right? You understand? Which is really neat. So just go up to our standard download button, click on that. Manual synchronization, we're going to continue without synchronization. I'm making changes to my PLC that, okay. Then we're going to do what? Click on load. So what it's doing is downloading our configuration for the device. It asks us do we want to start all, that's okay. And then we'll click on finish. Huh?
Those grayed out.
Anything that's red like this. So what happened is for some reason your PLC stop all, right?
And load it.
Yes. Only if you want it to work. So what we did is we just changed the setup, the hardware setup of the PLC. Are we okay so far? Okay, guys, what do we need to do next?
Go to program block.
Yeah, go to program blocks. Go to OB1. Right? And then we're almost ready. Oh, I need to close this out. I'm up in front of it. Yeah, we're going to rename the block, the main block. No, what we're gonna do, we're not gonna name these after our station. We're gonna name them according to the way they're named on that. Yeah, so we got. Yeah, we got P underscore ORG. We got P underscore auto. We got P underscore. VM stop is next. Huh?
Then stop. Stop.
P stop. Is D E M 3. So y'all take turns making these different. So we're gonna rename. We're gonna rename OB1 to what? Okay, so I'm gonna come over here and just right click on that and go down to what? Rename, right? Everybody okay? Okay. And we're gonna call this P underscore ORG. All uppercase letters, guys. Are we okay? Everybody okay? Everybody okay? Yes, yes? Okay, then we're gonna do what? Then we're gonna add a block. Double click on that. All we have to do is change the name. It comes up blued out, right? And we're gonna call this what? P underscore auto. We're gonna click OK. Comes up here and puts us over here in our block. I'm gonna come over here and add another block, and we'll go ahead and add all our subroutines because we know what they're gonna be, right? P underscore by the way, if you screw up, you can right click on it and then choose what? Delete. Everybody okay? That's supposed to be stop, not stop. Odd. Oh, crap. Okay. Everybody okay? P-org, which is OB1, which is our main one. Notice it has a different color, right? It's purple. And all these are stuff. Everybody okay?
So this is an F-4. This one we have F1, F4.
What it does is it puts them in there by alphabetical order. So if you look, one of them's called EM3, another one's called EM block. So what I want you to do is when you open them up according to their number. So you see they arrange them alphabetically, unfortunately. But, there's really nothing. I don't think there's anything we can do. If there's a way you can make them arrange them different, I don't know, but it's no big deal. So we got org should already be should already be opened up, right? Then what should we have? Then we should open up auto, and every time you open up one, ooh, what's going on with me?
Every time I open up one, what?
You should get a tab down here at the bottom. Mine's not doing that though.
I'm not getting it. Oh yeah, we will. Yeah. Order view.
Now you should get a tab across the bottom here. Oh, for some reason mine not doing it. Mine's got code block. Instead of having one tab on mine, what it's doing, it's got a code block 5, and then I can click on the 1. So I don't know what yours is. Okay, so everybody got PORG. Make sure you can verify it up here across the title bar. So it should be right here. PORG OB1, right? We'll be using this for now on. Okay. And the way the lab form is set up is that when we start programming, we're going to do what? 10 rungs of piece, right? Now the small subroutine, you can do those. So or DM stop, and blink. What I want you to do on that is just swap, right? Now what we're going to do is we'll have one lab form for every module. Does that make sense? For every program module. So we'll have one lab form for ORG. We'll have one lab form for auto. We'll have one lab form for every module. So what we'll do to start off with is so or EM stop, and EM blink. These are very short subroutines. So what we'll do here is each one in your group will do what? We'll do one of them. Then when we get into auto is the one that's going to be about 40 lines long. This is where you're going to do what? This is where the 10 rung rule comes into play. Everybody okay? Got any questions?
Just about where the icons are, the or something with that. Where's that drop box?
Normally, well, I don't know what you.
Did you have a
instruction.
All your this guy right here, y'all's is not up there.
only have?
Right. So all you need to do, here's your instruction palette over here on the right. You can close this up, by the way. And while you're programming, what you can do is you can close up the project tree, which gives you the whole window. If you ever want to open the project tree back up, which basically we really don't need anymore, but for some reason if you do, you can come over here. Especially if you needed to upgrade if we need to change, we could come over and click on that and download new hardware configurations, right? So when I set up the clock memory, I did it for the distribution station. I didn't have time to go through all this and make sure I got that thing out of the way for other people. So somebody in here might have to move their clock memory. But I doubt it. I think we're okay. Once we get all our subroutines in our main program across the bottom, then basically we're through with this guy anyway. Right? Well, also what you got, here's your instruction set over here on the right. Okay. And you have general instructions, and the one below that is what? Is bid instructions. I come over here on my bid instructions, you see examine if closed, examine if open, right? Now these should already be over here, right? You understand that? So the basic, what you normally get is you get an examine if closed, examine if open, you get a coil, right? You get this guy, which you can make it mean anything. That's really neat. I need to show you that. You get the down drop, you get the up drop. What you don't have is the set and the reset. So if you want to add the set and the reset, just come into your bid instructions, find reset, click on it, and drag it over to your box. Drag it up to your quick access menu. Everybody see that? Pretty neat, right? Everybody okay? What's neat about this guy, this is what I wanted to show you. This guy you can, it's R for reset, not reset BF. That's all something different. All we're dealing with is exactly what I got up here. I've got R and S. Not those special guys. I've got R and S, right? Now, if you do pull the wrong one over there, all you got to do, if you do pull the wrong one over there, all you have to do is right click on it and choose what? Remove instruction. So it's no big deal even if you pull the wrong one over there. So the ones that I recommend you put up there, and it's up to you, you know, if you're doing timers, you know, you got to do 4 or 5 timers. What can you do? You can open up the timers. You can pull a timer over there. Some of the stations use timers. Some of the stations don't use timers. Every one of them use all these set and these reset relays or coils. So I recommend that you pull those up. Everybody okay? So your instruction set is over here. By the way, if you don't like it being so small, notice what I'm doing. I'm coming over here and grabbing this guy. See where it changes from an arrow over to a double lines up, and I can come over here and pull this over and make my instruction sets bigger. But what if you do? If you come over here and close it up, your program screen is going to occupy the full access too. Also on these pop-up menus, guys, if I come up here and do this, it's going to show me what's going on right there. I can come over here and grab this and make it smaller. If I can't see it, I can make it bigger. If I want to close it, I just hit this down arrow, right? You understand? And it closes it up. So normally if we got a little problem, all the problems are going to be displayed down in here. And we can bring this up and do what anytime? We can resize it anytime, any size that we want to. Okay? Everybody okay? Any questions there? So your instruction set, if I want to bring it up, I do what? Just come over here on the right hand side, click that up. Everybody okay? Everybody okay? So everybody pull their reset and their set over there into their main OB, over into their quick access. Everybody okay? So we got our tabs up. Like I said, for some reason my tabs are not showing. Mine is popped up like this. If yours pops up here, it says 5 code blocks. Then what I would do, and this is the first time I've seen that, guys, just click that, and now I can do what? Now, when you choose that, what you've done is you've changed the active screen. Now, notice on the top, if you get confused, what you need to do is look at the title bar and see what section of the program you're in. Another thing you need to remember, when you're doing your program, Allen Bradley, RS Logic, starts their first rung is what? 0. Our first rung is 1. So that means you're always going to be programming. So when you're programming rung 36, this guy right here better say network 37, right? You understand that? And that's what gets people, that confused me a little bit. I had to make sure because I always wanted to program. It gave me more problems when I was verifying it than because I would be looking at a rung number over here and trying to see if I had it right over here, right? So this is what we're going to do. Once you got a module program, then what are you going to do? Both of y'all are going to go back and figure out, so whoever's programming the rungs are going to go back and the other person is going to call them out and make sure you got everything right. Now, how are you going to do your tags? It's up to you. You can do the tags while you do it, right? Everybody understand how to do it while you do it. You do what? You come down and just pull it down. It goes red. You come up here and you assign it an address. 0.0. It assigns it a default tag. So what you would do here is you do what? You'd right click it and choose what? Rename tag. Everybody okay? And you type in the new name. Try to anyway. Oh, I'm sorry. I chose rewire tag instead of rename tag. No wonder it gave me problems. And you type in anything you want to do, and then you type in what? Change. What's the other way you can do it, guys? You can go over here and spread it out. Come down here to PLC tags. Go to what? Default tags. And then you can start working here. So already you've got some tags out there. You should already have, if you did it right, then you should have what? You should have your memory bytes out there. Everybody okay?
No.
Huh? Just come up here, type on the tag. By default, it's Boolean, which means it's what? True, false. These are bits. These are bit instructions. Type in the name of the tag, right? You'll understand. And if it's not what you want, you can come over here to this chart, and these are all the different things you can have. Everybody okay? Any questions? So, I need to make this move. Once you choose Boolean, then what's going to happen is it's going to come back, and that's the default. Y'all, what's the default? By the way, what's the default in computers? If you don't tell it something different. These guys are going to choose defaults because something's got to be there, right? So everybody okay? So are you okay? So I don't know how y'all need to split up the tags. But y'all need to split it up, right?
That's what you said, though, we just go along the go, right? We're just doing this.
You do it while you go. There is another way to do it. So I could come up here and start talking. I could start typing in a tag, right? You understand? This would be, instead of giving it an address here, type in the tag. That way, if it's already been used, it'll pop up there for you. If it hadn't been used, then what happens is it's going to turn red under there, right? Then you can right click on this and do define tag. And then you can come over here and you can divide it to a, yeah.
Is this the S1 county?
I don't know.
On the first tab.
Oh, that's the name of the ladder, right? That's the column. This is an address. This is the address. First pass. We call that first pass, right? This is the address of the first pass. This is the address of the first pass inside the outside. We're not using that. Okay, so what are we using on that? Instead of first pass, we're using first scan. We're using the memory, right? They're called clocks. So those tags are already assigned.
So are we not changing it over to first scan instead of first pass?
First pass is in yellow. That's a comment. Right? You know what I'm saying? What do they call them? What tag is that? These tags are already assigned. You can't change the tag. Okay, understand what I'm saying? Yes or no? So if I come over here and I come up here and I'm going to start typing in clock. As soon as I hit C, I come up there. I'm sorry, it's not clock. What? It's called F. I'm going to hit F and it comes up and tells me what? First scan. I'm going to come over and click on that and I'm through. Okay. So we're not and it automatically it's using that tag's already been assigned, right? Y'all understand that? So you don't have to assign tags to the first scan. It's just like you didn't assign a tag when you used it, if you used it on the Allen Bradley PLC. It's just in advanced PLCs. Some of y'all did use it. I don't think y'all did it in the intro to PLCs, but some of y'all in the advanced PLC class did use the first pass bit, but it's a status register bit. You okay? What does that mean?
Did your mama do that to you?
Yeah, I can tell with my mama. You know, everybody learns their mama's expressions early, don't they?
Yeah. I seem to have forgotten things that it's black. That's a problem. It's not refreshing. I wish I had a button that
Yeah, I understand that.
could bring it back.
More alcohol.
I wouldn't believe how long it took me to figure this out. Thank goodness for the internet. YouTube. So I put a lot of YouTube videos up there, by the way, for y'all that I found while I go along. Oh, you mean the lecture videos? Well, there's also a video link. I think it's inside of.
When this happens to me personally, I freeze, you know.
You have to get out of that habit, right? So inside the Blackboard site, y'all listening up? Inside course content, there's a TIA portal video, and I've put tons of videos up in there about creating tags, right? Latching circuit, subroutine, math instruction, prepare instruction, move instructions, which we're going to use. So we'll need to look at that. Counters, we don't use any counters. Allen Bradley, Festo doesn't use any counters, but it would be interesting if we could add them. So now, what y'all have to understand is there's a lot of things on the Festo line that are not being used. So we were in here the other day, and Nancy had said we got some bad parts. We need to put them on there, and the Festo line didn't reject them because the Festo line couldn't figure out the way the program's written now. It's looking at a height, right? You understand? So it's got a minimum height and it's got a maximum height, and it don't care what color it is. It don't care what it is. If it's between those two limits, it says it's okay. If it's outside those limits, it says it's not okay. The problem we have is that if I've got a red cylinder that's within the limits, even though it's the wrong height for a red cylinder, it's still going to let it do what? Pass. So what we need to do is we need to come up with a method where we can not only look at the height, we can also look at the what? the color. And the sensor's over there. It's just that they're not using it in the current program. The Siemens, there's probably 30 things down that line that's not being used in the current programs, but they're already there. So we could literally change the testing section once we figure it out. We could literally change that program now. So not only now does it look at the watt, at the height, it also compares it against the what color is it supposed to be, right? And we could use the analog input on our PLC to actually measure the height for us, which is pretty neat. And we can display that on an HMI panel, by the way. So every one of these cylinders that pop up there and it measures it, we could do what? We could display the actual height on the HMI panel. So there's a lot of videos over here. A lot of them's not even on what we cover, but they'll be available to you later on if you get out in the field and need to play around with like a PID control or something like that, right? Yeah, over in your project tree, if you want to use a subroutine, you just go over here and click on it, left click on it, and just drag it over, and it'll insert that subroutine in there for you.
We don't have to address it.
No, everything's already in there. Notice automatically it gives it the address. It says it's function block 1, and it's called auto. So that's what's so neat here. You don't have to know if it's U3, U4, U5. You don't have to know the number of the program.
So I can now I'm ready for the main program on left on same thing.
I'm listening.
I'm trying to
So all we have to do is we come up here and we put our decision making, right? So what are we doing over here? So we have this is actually in a down drop. Okay. So the first line, what do? We come over here and put a contact, right? And what's it called? What's the address? What's that? I don't have I need to get my program. It's according to how you're doing your tag tables. Everybody doesn't have to do the tag tables. One of the projects, Milton, bring all the programs over here. Okay, so somebody help me out. What's the first one? It's not IO. It's IO 0.0, right? Okay. And that's the one I'm gonna rename the tag. What's the tag supposed to be? This is an input. It's not a contact.
I'm just trying to overcomplicate it.
Is it considers that one shot to be an output instruction and not really an output instruction. So what it's doing, it's assigning an address to store the bit at, and then it's assigning the address of the coil number that we would use in our program, right? You understand that? Okay. Everybody okay? Now, when I look at the output for the so when I look at the output for the Siemens, and I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna highlight it, and then I'm gonna hit F1. And what this does is it brings you out. It brings up not only what each input and output does, it also gives you an example of how we would use this. Everybody understand that? So this guy here, we're not going to output to a bit, we're going to output to a coil, right? You understand? So what that does is that does away with the output bit. We don't need the output bit anymore because we're going to use a coil. Does that make sense? So the address that we're going to use the storage bit. What's the storage bit? B3:2/4. Everybody understand that? Everybody okay so far? Okay. So let's look at our tag chart and see what the equivalent is for B3:2-4. M4.4. Okay, are we okay? Are we okay? So mine's I crossed mine up, but mine still works. Okay, are we okay so far?
Yes.
Okay, then what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to assign it an output coil. Right, you understand? Because this, we don't assign it a bit, we assign it a coil, right? You understand? Yes or no? So what we need to do is, mine's a little different, like I said, is we need to assign this to whatever output bit they have. So what's the output bit? Huh?
4.6.
Okay. Are we okay? So what I did on my tag is, like I said, don't use my address. What I did is I used the memory address. Which one are we going to use? Which one y'all going to use?
Those are the B trigger.
Yeah, for the actual signal itself. Which you're going to use?
4.4.
Yeah, 4.4. Right? We're going to give it, what I gave it the tag was, I gave it the tag Q1. All you got to do is just make sure you modify the tag a little bit, right? And then your output bit, this is where you're going to assign this coil, right? This memory coil. You're going to assign it to the equivalent address for the output. Everybody understand? Yes or no? Are we okay? I think on mine I reversed it. They're reversed, so they're still okay. But what we're trying to keep up. So what are we going to assign to the actual instruction? What's that? 4.4, right? And we'll give it a tag name. What are we calling it? P_EDGE1. Are we okay? Okay. Then the actual output bit, what are we going to assign that to?
Did you say to add a letter to that? What did you do?
No, we can't use the same tag for the output that we do the input. So what we're going to do is, what's the output bit? Okay, M4.6. All right. Okay, so this is where we're going to put P edge, and then we'll come over here and put. I'm gonna put a dash and put an O or whatever. It doesn't make any underscore and put an O. Just so we know the difference between the output and the actual edge trigger itself. Everybody understand that? So everybody got that? Y'all okay? So I did this in this tag table, and I'll go ahead and what I'll do for the next class is I'll enter this tag in there for y'all. Are we okay? Everybody okay? Did y'all get a lab? Did y'all get a lab for?